Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of HazChat. I'm Bob Koshignano, one of your co-hosts, with my other cohort in crime. I say it every time. Hey, I rhyme. How about that? Derek Shawman, what's up, dude?
Everything is good here, Dr. Seuss. Just let's keep the rhyme to a minimum, and remember that people are here to learn.
Hey, man, listen. After being awake for as long as I was on that trip, which if you guys are listening to this will be the July 15th episode dropping. So if you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, go to the one that dropped on July 7th, and you'll understand why we're giggling and why I'm so giddy now that I've gotten some sleep. So, all right, without further ado, let's say a little something from our sponsors. Hey, HazChat listeners, looking to boost your skills? Check out respondertraining.com. They've got top-notch responder training and essential tools like their 1-inch propane and CNG flare-off kits, water injection tools, and much more. Train smart, stay safe, and excel in the field. That's respondertraining.com. Enhance your HazMat training with Signal, the most realistic gas detection training on the market. For under $100, you can simulate any detection combination from handheld meters to fixed location monitors, and even confined space scenarios with their universal pump attachment. Signal delivers unlimited range and detector combinations trusted by top teams around the world. Visit signalapp.com or download the app now. Signal, unlimited range, unlimited possibilities. In Our Gear products, built by first responders for first responders. In Our Gear delivers innovative, field-tested tools for every level of HazMat response. The ZMAT card empowers ops-level responders to set the initial tone with quick, easy-to-use hazard identification. The R-Claw line boosts efficiency for technicians in the hot zone, and the WIMS board enhances command competence from behind the steering wheel. Trust In Our Gear, where reliability meets response. InOurGear.net. And here we are, movie magic. We are here with I'm going to let him introduce himself. Ronnie, go ahead. Let it rip.
Hello. My name is Ronnie Stenger. I work for Corrine Township Fire Department outside Cincinnati. Been here for about almost 30 years. Signed to our rescue company for about 28 of those years. I'm also a member of Greater Cincinnati HazMat team, Hampton County Urban Search and Rescue team, and Ohio Task Force 1 Urban Search and Rescue team, which is one of the FEMA 28 USAR teams. So I've been doing the USAR HazMat stuff since about 98. And then I also teach with All Safe Industries and Cincinnati State College here in Cincinnati. So I stay pretty busy in my spare time, and I'm married and have 2 wonderful daughters and almost married for 30 years.
Good for you.
She
puts up with you, right? I know.
Yeah.
We're going to hit 31. I can't believe it. 31 in November. And I always joke around. So the only reason why we lasted this long is because she was in the fire department also. And so for 20 of those 31 years, we were on different shifts. So that's how that worked.
Yeah. Mine's in the dental field. So.
Awesome. Well, listen, hey, thanks for joining us, and thanks for bringing this call to our attention. This is a Styrene call, right, that you ran. So
yes.
So kind of set it up for us, and before we get going, the video that everybody's watching, and if you're listening on one of the platforms, please go to the YouTube channel and watch this episode, because there's some really cool video in here that Ronnie's team did. Just on a side note, the video you're looking at is a little choppy here and there at the top. That is not Ronnie's video. That is a problem on our side when it was uploaded. So I just wanted to make sure he had full credit for the video he did, or his team did. It was really, really good. And we don't promote products or anything like that on the show, but if you want, you can reach out to Ronnie separately. He'll give an email if he wants at the end, and you could talk to him more about that. But with that being said, Ronnie, set it up for us.
So this day wasn't last year. This happened in a township out west from Corrine Township, which Corrine Township runs mutual aid with in Whitewater Township. And the initial call came in as an outdoor gas odor. And I was actually teaching at a local fire department here in Cincinnati, the confined space refresher. And I get their runs on active 911 for that township. And anytime, if you want to say gas odor or something interesting like that, I usually log in and see what's going on. And I started
Mhm.
logging in, and I saw that it was a plastic odor, and then it got updated to a white cloud, and then it got updated to possibly coming from the rail yard. And right when the plastic odor in the rail yard and the location piqued my interest.
Right.
So I told the guys from the local fire department I was teaching at, I was like, hey, um, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna head that way because it's about a 30-minute drive from where I was teaching. And on the way over, I was listening, and then I was actually updating our GC hazmat duty officer that day. And then I also called our LEPC EMA guy that was on call that day and gave them a heads up. And so we started getting the ball rolling behind the scenes with a lot of things. And then from there, their fire chief from Whitewater did an excellent job, with the whole outcome of this. It lasted multiple days.
Wow.
He started getting additional resources, and then he upgraded this to a hazmat run, which added our rescue truck, and then he had GC Hazmat also dispatched. So I was already en route. Then our team got en route, and the biggest thing was we had experienced this in 2005. Cincinnati did with a Styrene car. So we do have a
Mhm.
little bit of practice with this than other Styrene leaks in the area over the years. But when I arrived on scene, where we were about a mile away initially, and you can actually smell that plastic sweet odor.
Wow.
And then we were just talking about what units we need to get here. So we dispatched the Hamilton County Urban Search and Rescue drone unit, which you see the pictures from,
Hmm.
which it's a part of the Hamilton County Urban Search and Rescue team, a command unit, and then all your additional resources. EPA, more GC hazmat guys came, other fire departments, and our biggest concern was, you know, trying to get this area cooled down. Whitewater, their biggest concern is where this rail yard sits was a shopping plaza.
Oh, wow.
And guess which way what the wind was blowing.
Of
So
course.
that time of day, uh, you know, shopping plaza with a grocery store, gas station, restaurants, when they pulled up and I was listening to them on the radio, they were in SCBAs already breathing air. And people were scattering, running, cars pulling out of the parking lot, so they had their hands full for quite a long time before resources got there because where it was located, it wasn't like the tooth fairy, like a lot of times we always say is, we magically appear within 5 or 10 minutes, right,
Right.
of a structure fire. But on a hazmat call where it was located, it took a while for resources to get there. So that first arriving companies did an excellent job, doing their life safety things, getting people evacuating, getting information. One of the guys actually got down next to the rail car, got the placard numbers for us. So we knew we were dealing with styrene the whole time.
Wow. That's great. Yeah. You said placard number. Was there, did they use the GTX number at all? Did anybody ever write that down by any chance?
Yes, and we used AskRail.
Perfect.
So when they were giving those numbers and me driving, I was already had my AskRail up, and I didn't hit training this time. And I was asking, and we got the whole consensus pretty quick.
Awesome.
And there were several other styrene cars, as you see by the video here. All those other tank cars were full of styrene.
And where it's highlighted there, that's the
Oh, wow.
actual heat from the thermal camera. It's showing the heat that's building up
Yes,
in that car, right?
correct. Yes. So we didn't have that at first. It took a while for the drones to get there, but once we got the drones up in the air, so I believe they had one that was tethered, and then they had another guy flying another drone, which you see in the videos here, was great because they could tell us so much information, and we didn't have put nobody in harm's way except for those guys on the fire companies that were spraying water.
Right.
So once we got the
Mhm.
water established with the two ladder pipes,
Uh-huh.
we got decon set up, we got accountability set up. Our EMA was doing evacuations and shelter in place. So we had a lot of different areas going with this hazmat run. So we had hazmat ops. The local sheriff's department was great to help evacuate people. And we had a school within a mile,
Wow.
elementary school. So we had to do shelter in place there. So there was a lot of different areas of this hazmat run that was all taking place at the same time.
So I see they're cooling it down. What other tactics and operations was involved with mitigating this?
So one of the big things was we learned, like, okay, can we cool it down, right? So it's polymerizing. It's almost in runaway. It hit that magic PSI. The inhibitor's gone. We learned that. We know that from styrene. And the goal was, to start putting water on it, right? That's what we've always been taught. So we started getting the water on there. And at first it was hard because there was a tree line there.
Mm-hmm.
And to actually see where we put in water on until we got drones up or people on that on the ground, it was hard to. But trying to get people over there was hard to because it was a deep tree line, very seeded tree line. So you had to walk around a while, turnout gear. It was hot, breathing air, and we had to make that big decision. Our GC hazmat commander and the fire commander from another local jurisdiction is, do we put people in harm's way?
Mm-hmm.
And the thing was, if we don't, what can happen, right? We all know what can happen to styrene if we don't control it, right?
Right.
So we have to do the life safety risk a lot for a lot, right? Situation awareness. We had to take that into consideration. So then we had to call mutual aid for another tower to get there. We had to get additional water sources. I think we end up at least a second or third alarm.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Corain got there with our rescue truck, we set up a single pool decon line. And then we had our 5 gas meters with the VOC, so we can change our meter to look for styrene for the LEL and VOC. And then once all that started happening, we made a decision called Cincinnati HazMat. So they brought their area arrays in, and their job was to meter the surrounding community for styrene. And then GC hazmat guy, we set our area arrays up around the forward command posts and up further where the guys were operating the drone and the elevated water streams. So one thing I did try, which was pretty cool, I did put pH paper on our drones and have them fly down and land in different locations and just see what happens. This is a first for us with drones in our area, using drones for our team like this. And the biggest thing was we could see the color, where the heat signatures were, where we were flowing water. So we had communications with the drone guys, say, hey, guys, move Harrison's Quinn or Lawrenceburg's tower this way to cool it. So, and then just the communications with the railroad and the communications with the chemical company. So a lot of different things going on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, and for a first time out with a drone, I mean, I think that from what I'm seeing and what the info you're giving, I mean, it was justified in that very first outing. Exactly how beneficial that tool is.
We've used our drones on other things like missing people or river rescue runs, but I'm not 100% sure. But this is the first time the Hamilton County Urban Search and Rescue Team used their drone division for a hazmat run. And now it's like it's a no-brainer. We get a hazmat run, we're calling the drones. I mean, it just makes our life so much easier for hazmat guys. And the technology is out there now. We can put meters and take stuff down range. Yeah.
Yeah,
but it doesn't place the person in the suit or going down range and getting eyes on or hands on. So
and that's just
like a place for it.
It's just like fires. There's departments that are using them for structure fires, and it doesn't take the place of a firefighter, but it allows command and everybody to see things that they wouldn't be able to normally see a building starting to degrade or whatever the case may be. So there's a lot to it.
And the cool thing was we have our own drone unit, our own command vehicle for the drones. And I was able to get up in there, sit and speak directly to the drone operators inside the vehicle, almost say, hey, move the drone here or get closer or zoom in because I want to take a look at, if the if the rail car is doing something, right? Is it getting, some rust spots or brown from the heat?
Right.
Look at different. I mean, we were able to look at every car and get the numbers off of them
That's awesome. Were
to
you
put a
able?
mass rail.
Were you able to see after doing the tactic of the water spray? Were you able to see the temperature go down at all?
We did, and I think a lot of times you have a lot of opinions about this. Does
Sure.
water work on a rail car? Is it single jacket or double
Double jacket,
jacket?
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But we have to do something, right? We just can't let
Right.
it sit there and vent and go do what it does. And 2005, when Cincinnati had theirs, they pumped a lot of water. So we were like, okay, this is going to work. Does it have the valve where you can pump cool water between the jackets, right? So there was a lot of unknown questions that a lot of people always have. I think when we make these rail cars runs, is it double jacketed?
Right.
Is it single jacketed? What's it carrying? What's its pressure relief valves at? Why is it doing what it does? So there was a lot of unknown questions, but like we in the hazmat world and fire service, we have to do something. So we put
Yeah.
water on it. My opinion, I think it really helped to cool the
Mhm.
tank down.
Right.
We checked the runoff, with pH paper. We had metering good. And we had decon. We had our hot, warm, and cold zone set up. And, every time they were changing a little bit, right? When
Sure.
more information comes in from the rail company or the chemical company, first we just did shelter in place until we figure
Mhm.
out, oh, this can do something bad. So we're like, well, let's do evacuation, you know. So then behind the scenes, the chief from the Whitewater did an excellent job liaisoning all that stuff out to getting shelters, to opening the local um I think it's senior center, community center up.
Mhm.
There's a lot of that has to be done between the scenes. And overall, this run went great, but every run we do in the hazmat, use our firewall, we can always get better from.
Sure.
Lessons learned.
What
It
actually?
sounds like you
Good,
really
Jared.
laid the foundation there with, I mean, you were notifying the LEPC, you were getting in touch with rail company and all that early on, where I think
Right.
a lot of times those are secondary thoughts for a lot of
Yeah.
people because it's not something we do a lot.
Yep.
And it's like there are players here that the sooner you get them in the game, the better this operation's going to go. So I mean, it sounds like you guys had a jam up system set up as far as like setting up your incident command structure, getting some unified command going on, and I mean that's a fantastic example of how
Right.
that should go.
What
And I just knew my little part, right? In the forward operation, forward boo, if you want to call it, was just, all the stuff going behind the scene was just amazing, But in this county, we have a great EMA and LEPC that works great with us, and we train with them. So GC Hazmat, Hamilton County USAR team, all the local entities, we all train with our local EMA and LEPC, and we have a ton of classes that come in that everybody can take throughout the year. And it's just amazing of the working relationship we have with a lot of these counties in Southwest Ohio with their local LEMA or LEPC and EMA. So we're very fortunate.
Yeah,
And even
LEPCs
across the
are
river.
important. LEPCs are really
Yes.
important. A lot of the classes that Derek and I do around the country are through LEPCs. I was on our LEPC board for a number of years, and it's a group that is not utilized to its fullest in a lot of
I
places
totally
around
agree.
the country. It really and
Yeah.
truly is.
Yeah, and the nice thing is our EMA people that are on call, if one of us calls them for something and just give them the heads up, it's awesome. And then we
Mhm.
have a great thing in our county. We have a group page for like technical rescue or hazmat. So certain people get them, certain fire chiefs gets them in the county. So we're already starting the ball rolling that way in case it
Nice.
does turn out to be something big. If not, it is what it is, right?
Right.
But everybody can start all that behind the channel calling and texting, and it's just like the FEMA system. When a
Right.
hurricane's coming, we're all texting each other like, are we going, are we not going, did you hear,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So we're just trying to get that pre-plan done, but a lot of things we did prior to this helped out, and then before all the assets got caught in this run, I think it played a big contributing factor to outcome.
Yeah, it's in our ops review class that we talk about all the time is the first arriving unit set the stage, and
100%.
and that's one of the things we emphasize in our class is that you got to get the first arriving units trained. We've spent a lot of training on technicians. We don't do enough training with the ops people. But quick question: how do you once after you guys were flowing the water? What did you guys do, or rail, or whomever, to stop the leak, or did you?
I think by time we were flowing the water, I think the leak stopped itself, stopped polymerizing, and got below that pressure.
Uh huh.
But the problem was, what was it doing inside that tank?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
How many people knows how to go up to a rail car, get an internal temperature, right? How many hazmat technicians ever been trained in that and have the proper equipment and know how to do it, right?
Right.
So we had to wait for the railroad, and they finally came with their guys and did their, like, a cleanup crew or whoever they got.
Right.
They did the internal temperature, but we were only going on what our drone footage was showing.
Sure.
And like
Right.
people said, is that a true temperature? Probably not, but we can go off on something, right?
Right. You got a starting point anyway.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's cool. How long
Yeah,
did the
because you
whole,
can at the very minimum you can see changes over time.
Yes, and we
So
did.
even if you're
You
not
could
getting
see,
a true, you're seeing what's happening.
right, you could see the colors change in a rail car. And the one thing with our drones was that you could see before and after, like, colors in the rail car, because the rail car was white and was turning
Mm-hmm.
brown in different colors. And we were like, well, is that rust or heat?
right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and if you watch the drone footage very close, we started seeing that increased brown spots all over the rail car. So we're like, well, we got to say that's heat,
Yeah.
right? Or what's going on here. So we really never knew, what the true temperature was at the beginning. And we know it was hot,
Right.
but who has that technology or that training to go down range in fire gear and climb a rail car to get an internal temperature? Or who's going to risk that, right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's certain incidents, and this would be one of them where, you know what, I'm not putting people on it, near it, whatever, especially in light of you having a drone.
Right.
And so another good reason for departments to be getting them, for sure.
Right.
How long did the whole call take?
I was there probably 12 plus hours.
Wow.
And then, the call went for several days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I got involved a little bit trying to help coordinate some of the additional assets, like Ohio State Board of Health coming in, because they had to take air samples inside the stores, the supermarket, to make sure it's safe. You get in the rail car, chemical company involved, who owns it, who needs to deal with it,
Right.
move to other cars, where are we going to put that car? So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff I wasn't involved in. And then one of the big issues we came up with, because we were flowing so much water that day, millions and millions of gallons of water, we were depleting the water system.
Ah, yeah.
So we came up, one of the guys from the regional water department in that village came and said, hey, we're running out of water. So myself and another chief was tasked, was like, where are we going to get water? So we were thinking, well, the Ohio River's too far away. It's like 2 or 3 miles. We could do relay pump. There's another river, but it's too far down to pump. We can't
Right.
get fire boats. So we came up with tanker operations, and we did some calculation to maintain that flow. We had to call in 25 plus tankers.
Wow.
I mean, it could have been done, but it would took some time. But we figured out there's some valves we could open to get another water system to backfeed their system.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just one of those things that you think you got everything handled, and all of a sudden, bam, now we got a bigger problem. Like, we might run out of water.
Yeah, and that's
So
something
we
people
all
probably
work-
don't think about.
Yeah, we worked in a unified command, and we took care of that problem. So everybody worked great together. Like I said before, we can learn from this a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking
Regionally,
of learning, just to kind of wrap things up a little bit, what were some of the lessons learned you had? You mentioned the water. What else?
just using assets, getting teams called quicker, which is always a problem. Safety, how close do we put the guys? They were down there for quite a long time, how do they switch out bottles because they had to be on air, right?
Mhm.
There were some little things here and there, I think a lot of it comes back to it's just training, knowing how to use instrumentation, decon, got to always have decon set up, medical, you know, people don't realize how many resources you need on an incident like this. And we're going to be doing an after action report sometime. I'm not sure when it comes out, but that'll be out, probably within a year, to look at the good and bad of this run.
Mhm.
Everybody can learn from this,
Absolutely.
locally, nationally, wherever. So
Yeah. Well, please let us know when that comes out. We'd love to have you back on and talk about it and share it
yes,
around. Cause
definitely.
that's, like I always say in different shows that we do, I don't care how many, what you save or whatever. I want to hear about your mistakes because that's how I learn.
Yes. And that's how
So
we all learn.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. Awesome.
Hazmat is not the perfect thing we do,
Right.
and I always tell people too we're all firefighters, a lot of us. I always say, hey, you forget to hit a hydrant, there's 5 other engine companies,
Right.
right? You can't get an IV or intubation, there's more medics. But on hazmat and USAR, sometimes you can't look over your shoulder and
Right.
say who's going to help
Yeah.
us out,
Yeah.
right?
Nobody's coming.
Right.
No, they're coming, but like I said, they're not 5-10 minutes
Right.
away,
Right.
you
Mhm.
know So personally,
Awesome.
I learned a lot on this run, just helping out in the hazmat command situation. That I loved it. So
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. Derek, you got any final things for Ronnie before we head out?
No, I mean it. I like the comment you made about the second area monitoring system being placed around the command post, because I think that that's something that can very easily get overlooked. We set up those area systems to determine what our perimeter is, but then that command post has to remain functional and
Yep.
may need to relocate as well. So
mhm.
having some dedicated asset there to ensure that your command staff is in a good spot and that your operations are starting from a safe vantage point,
Right.
that's a good takeaway from that too.
Yeah.
And at one point, once the situation was somewhat under control, we thought we were thinking that forward operations center, we actually moved that back some because we're like, okay, we got water flowing, we got trucks set up, we don't have to man it anymore. Let's just back everybody up, and we were probably at least a mile back then. So we
Hmm.
felt safe if something did go bad, that we were in a secure area, that we were safe for us responders.
That's awesome. Real quickly, Ronnie, where can people get a hold of you if they want some information about your drone system and might have other questions that we didn't cover here?
Yeah, you can get hold of me at rstenger@colerain.org. It's a RSTENGER at Colerain, COLERAIN.org. So you can just shoot me an email. Then if somebody wants more information on our drone, I can forward that to our 2 drone team commanders.
Awesome.
And they're always about sharing information, and they're nationally known guys. I think we're a leader in the drone division in our area, especially with the technology and the truck we have now, and how big of a part of the drone system is now in our region.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And
Thank you.
before we go, just want to remind everybody, here's some social media sites for you. Please, as you just heard or watched this episode of HazChat, there are many others on our YouTube channel, as well as some short video instruction videos with little tips and tricks. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can hear all these on all the platforms as well. Make sure you like and subscribe, as I mentioned, and follow us on Facebook as well. And coming out at the end of September, early fall ish, is a new book, Hazards in Hindsight. It's got several runs in there that I've been on. Derek was on, and a good friend of ours, uh, Kevin Ryan. So check it out. It's lessons learned, incidents that we've all had, and we can learn from each other. So that should be out late summer, early fall. And then some of our websites, as I mentioned, our Facebook, YouTube, and web channel. Don't forget the HazMat Guys Roundtable, first Tuesday of every month, 8 p.m. Eastern. Myself, Bobby Salveson, Jeff Zintek, and Mike Monaco do a live show, 8 p.m. Eastern, first Tuesday of the month. And then our HazMat group 2, which I'm proud to be admin of, or one of the admins of, we've got over 10,000 members. So we're really excited about that. And then some other groups, HazMatter Group and Common Sense HazMat, all places that you can gather more information, ask questions. People will be glad to help you. And it's phenomenal. Derek, that was great. Love doing shows like that. So this one, as we mentioned, will be dropping when you watch it. It will be July 15th. So any parting words, my friend?
No, I just want to give a huge thanks to Ronnie on that. That was a fantastic insight to a very interesting call. So look forward to getting together again and maybe talking about some other stuff. But everyone, enjoy your days and be safe.
Exactly. Until next time, we'll see you. Stay safe.